Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Adventure. In the last part we got here to the Floatrocks after doing some stuff over in the ice area, and now we're going to continue on to hopefully find the Sword Excalibur. And also, as I mentioned, I think it was at the end of the last part, I did a bit of level grinding in the general area. Got myself up a couple levels. I forgot the exact amount of levels because it's actually been about a week and a half since I recorded this footage. But I've done level grinding either way, and I think I'm actually going to need to do more off-screen in between parts again. Yeah, I am, actually. I think I said it earlier, but yet again, I'm sorry if this is a bit much grinding for anyone who's playing along, but just the fact that, while I am at a point where I can say I'm probably over-leveled for the rest of the game, I do like to have levels just for safety, and I'm sorry about that, that's just how I've always played games. Anyway, and here we want to buy the Thunder Spear, which is an upgrade to the original spear. By the way, also, as you notice here in my weapons menu, I actually sold a couple of my weapons off-screen because they were completely useless now. Are completely useless now. And there's our destination, however, we still have to get around the area to get to it. No, they gave us this new weapon, but we can only have it equipped for like 30 seconds. I wish they would have actually had less Floatrocks in the direct path. Or at least blocking your path. Have some of the things just have a path available to go through without them. And I get why the Floatrocks are here, though. It's for railroading, essentially, so you wouldn't go into this area when you're too underleveled, but still, that's kind of stupid. Anyway, you might recall in the last part we got the bone key from Sibba, so let's use that on this door. And welcome to this cave, which has a name that I can't recall. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to grab my notes and actually flip back to where the notes are in this book. Because I was actually doing some other notes the other day. Oh, here, this is a puzzle, but it's a fairly easy one. You just have to step on both switches. This one makes the path appear, and the second one makes the door unlock. So, pretty basic stuff. Though, admittedly, that tripped me up my first playthrough because I completely missed the second switch for some reason. No, part of me wants to call that cheap enemy design making them able to fire at me when I'm going onto the screen without a chance to move, but oh well. Anyway, destroy that northern wall so you can go down here and enter this area. Get the Thunder Spear out because we're coming up against a boss. This is Kraken! Oh, that's 2 Final Fantasy 1 references so far. Anyway, Kraken is a pretty simple boss, as long as you just attack his face with the Thunder Spear like I am. He likes to have his tentacles go up and down and just try to stab you, really. One thing I'm going to caution you on is when he explodes, his explosion does hurt you. Man, yeah, that was a boss. And now we're back outside on this island, which I don't even know where this is on the map. Either way, it's somewhere. And we're here just so we can go around in a circle and enter the second cave. And here we get these enemies, actually. The ones that are in the ground like that can cast dark on you, and I think the bugs can poison you? Was their status ailment? I forget. Either way, I'm going to move the Morning Star to the first spot so it's a lot easier to access, because we want to head north here. Also, I'm not going to be bothering with killing all the enemies here because I already have enough experience. Besides, my grinding comes at a later point. Anyway, we want to destroy the wall on the left to get to another room, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's another ice puzzle room. And how do I feel about ice puzzles? Ha. I cough at them. No, I hate them. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. In this game, at least. But you gotta want your sickle out as well, because there's a bunch of leaves in the way. Yeah, we haven't seen these since like, what, part 2 or 3? Yeah, as usual, you can only use ice on the knights, not the wizards, so, yeah. No, actually, now that I think about it, this place actually does have a name, but it's a bit of a spoiler for something we're gonna encounter in a few moments, so I'm just gonna wait it off until then. By the way, I think this is actually one of the areas that has the most or at least one of the most caves that has the most outside areas. Huh. And here we are. Welcome to the underground volcano, as this place is called. Why is it called that? Because there's lava, and we're underground, so we're assuming we're underwater. Lava, as if you pay attention to my HP when I enter it, really hurts in this game. So I recommend having the cure spell out the moment you see it. Because otherwise, you actually have a surprisingly high chance of dying. A bit of a strategy you can use to get around it, though, is to use your invincibility frames from getting hit by another enemy. Because that'll actually allow you to get into the lava without getting hurt immediately. Also, I'm going to be cutting back to that screen. I think it was off-screen, so, or at least a bit later, so look out for that. Let's see, 467 before entering it. 317, that's 150 HP each hit. Ow. Ow. Well, mind you, I'll give it this. It's more threatening lava than pretty much any other RPG, because generally lava tiles in RPGs just do 1 damage per step. So I'll give it that, at least. It also gives me an excuse to use some of these items, finally. And ducks. You gotta want to kill these duck guys who are severely overpowering at this point, really. So you can get this chest, which contains the Zeus Axe. Pretty much a more powerful axe. I think it might be Thunder Elemental based off the name. I'm not entirely sure, honestly. Anyway, as I mentioned before, I cut back to this room. And I immediately have to unequip my hammer, Zeus Axe. Because I need my, I'm surprised that hit that mouse, honestly. Get through the wall on the east. Obviously, if you can avoid lava, don't go into do so, because that's unnecessary damage. Gee, I wonder where I'm supposed to go. Anyway, we want to head north and then east here. Don't go over the lava. And then you're going to want to head south. There might be an alternate way to go here because the beginning of this this floor had a eastern fork, but I'm not entirely sure because there is a southern fork here as well. Anyway, we want to go through this locked door here on the right. And when you're in here, you're going to be thinking, oh, I have to go in between the statues again, right? No, you don't go in between the statues this time. You destroyed the boulder on the lower right. Yeah, that's fairly cryptic. Anyway, here it's not entirely obvious which door you have to go into. You have to go into the far right. If you go into the middle or the left, they loop around to each other, so you'll just end up in a loop around. So you have to head into the right here. And from here, if I recall, it's a fairly linear path. Wait, no, it's not. I just remember that there's a wall we have to go through. Yeah, because we have to, I have to head north here. Never mind. Yeah, it's not linear path at all. Ignore me. Well, don't ignore me, but Anyway, you're going to want to get iced out because it's another one of these rooms, which I'm, as usual, going to cut past. The way this room works is that you can only freeze the little heads in the ground. You can't freeze the bugs, so yeah. Anyway, get the Zeus Axe and cure out because it's time for the next boss. And the boss this time is Iflyte. Likely a mistranslation for Ifrit. Iflyte likes to bounce around on the walls like that every now and then go up and go up to the top of the screen and then move left and right a bit. I think he has a projectile at that point too. But for some reason in this fight, he decides to stay in the ball form a lot. Though I learned something this playthrough, you can actually injure him when he's in the ball form if you hit the very center of his hitbox, I think it is. Bit odd, but yeah. Not a very hard boss, though. He does surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, he's a fairly late game boss. But you can be surprised how quickly he can take down your HP when you're not paying attention to the way he's bouncing around. So make sure you pay attention to that. And I also swear his hitbox is also slightly bigger than the actual ball itself, because there's numerous times where I just barely escape the ball, but I still get hit by it because its hitbox is slightly larger. I mean, look at that. Maybe the hitbox is actually slightly ahead of the sprite, given the fact that it's moving, but I don't know. Pretty interesting design for Ifrit, huh? Giant naked person on fire dancing around on the floor. And we defeated Ifrit. And for doing that, we get the Excalibur Rusty Sword. Alrighty then. Guess we use this as a key for something? Rusty Sword. Is this the Excalibur? And now we have to actually head back to Siba, so I'm actually going to cut back there off screen. And if you equip the Rusty Sword, I think it has crap attack power, so don't do that. Anyway, as I just mentioned, I'm going to cut back to Siba, so let's do that, shall we? Here we are. How you doing, Siba? The only way left is to reveal the Dime Tower. Dime Tower? In the Desert of Crystal? How? That sword'll help you. Use it in the Cave of Ruins. You'll see it. This rusty sword is such a great power. The Sword of Legend shows its real power only when it approves of your using it. Oh, it's one of these tropes. If you're a real Knight of Gemma, it'll help you. But I don't know if it... Don't worry. Now, go! The Cave of Ruins is in the desert near Ish. Ask Dr. Bow Wow. He knows it well. And now we have to head back to Ish, which is the town Bogard was in, obviously. So let's do that, shall we? How you doing, Bow Wow? I'm doing good myself. Finally, but you need the magic of Nuke. The ultimate magic of Book of Nuke is sealed by Lich. Go north to the Palmy Desert and defeat Lich. Great, another FF1 reference. So now we have to head to that area. Also, I find it pretty funny that there's so many Final Fantasy 1 references in this game that I honestly completely forgot about. Because while Final Fantasy 1 is long uploaded by this point, we're still in the process of recording it because meeting up can be kind of troublesome with, given the fact we both have our, Kenny and I have our separate lives and such. Also, I should mention, where I'm going to be doing the in-between parts grinds for this part is in this desert area, because the enemies here give decent experience, if I recall. Also, I have to say, well, I love this Chocobo theme. The beginning of it's really ear-grating. Anyway, the place we have to go to is actually fairly close to us. We actually just have to head north a couple screens from the river, or from the dock, and we're at another dock, which leads us to it. Ba-da-da. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 10, we'll be checking out this cave here, and hopefully getting the Book of Nuke from Lich. See you guys then.